exciting journey into a virtual world that's all around you, but you may not even realise exists. A world where the meek and mild can be brave and strong, where it's easy to make new friends without even having to leave the house. It is, of course, the world of online gaming, and it's gobbling up the entertainment dollar. E-League now boasts teams of players with huge TV audiences who consider themselves as true athletes. So what is it about these games that hook people in, and should we be worried?
Welcome to a virtual world.
You feel so immersed, you absolutely forget what's around you.
Population more than 1 billion.
The gaming world is designed to get you hooked. It's somewhere safe.
A global industry worth over $100 billion.
The current one I'm playing at the moment, which is Mad Max.
At the moment, League of Legends.
But is there a dark side to gaming?
What's the longest in one go that you've played?
Probably 1.5 days.
Honestly, I've done for a week.
I've played Minecraft for about 20 hours before.
Yeah, I mean, can you give it up? Are you addicted?
Nah, I don't think I can give it up. I think I'm pretty much addicted now.
And just how big is this industry?
Gaming is ginormous. Gaming is the biggest entertainment industry in the world.
To understand this world, you first have to enter it.
Oh, I'm dead. Wow. That is wild.
And what you see is that gaming's getting real.
And the venue looks fantastic. I mean, behind us, you just don't get bigger than this in New Zealand. This is making history right now.
Real big. Ready to take down TV and movies in the fight for entertainment dollars. As well as Sky TV, the New Zealand Gaming Champs broadcast live on the Twitch gaming website.
Twitch is ginormous. Yeah! You can watch live games, you've got influencers, you can watch the pro players train. There would be 750,000 unique devices that are logged on to Twitch. It's a very, very big platform. 98% of households have some form of gaming device. So I think that the younger audience have grown up with it, and you go up to sort of over 35 and people just don't understand it because they're not around it.
As an industry, they're well aware of the potential for addiction.
Mayo Clinic child psychiatrist says it's normal for kids to want to play video games, but parents should pay attention to lines being crossed into addiction.
Playing the games all night long, abandoning things that used to be a source of great enjoyment, schoolwork, friendships, sports.
Dr. Corkin says gaming addiction can often be a sign of a broader mental health issue like anxiety or depression. He says there are 3 important things parents who think their child is addicted to gaming should do. Number 1, communication is key.
It's a time to get more involved in the teenager's life and try to open up more channels of communications and really get a handle on what's going on in their life.
Number 2, it's important for parents to establish rules about screen time and stick to them. If teenagers aren't meeting basic family expectations, Dr. Corkin says internet time and devices should be treated as a privilege. And number 3, don't be afraid to get them professional help.
For over 10 years, I was addicted to playing video games. This addiction affected many areas of my life, including being a major influence in my decision to drop out of high school at the age of 15. I felt like a failure, and unfortunately, this was a feeling I knew too well. So I did what anybody would do. I Googled it, and the answers I found were incredibly frustrating. They were suggestions like study more, when the whole reason I was playing video games was to avoid studying. Or to hang out with friends when all my friends played video games. Not knowing what else to do, I decided to quit cold turkey. And after a few months, I learned key lessons that led to major breakthroughs in my recovery. And knowing others were struggling with this addiction, I decided to share my story. I wrote a blog post online titled How to Quit Playing Video Games Forever. And the response? Overwhelming. But is video game addiction really that big of a problem? I mean, we're talking about video games here. Sure, I had my own personal experience with it, but did this problem scale? Or was I just one of the unlucky ones? Current research suggests that 97% of youth play video games, which equates to 64 million kids in the US alone between the ages of 2 and 17, with the fastest growing age group kids aged 2 to 5. In the UK, 10% more kids aged 2 to 5 know how to operate a smartphone application than know how to tie their own shoes. Unfortunately, the debate surrounding video games focuses on whether you should play or not, when that's like saying, should you drink or not? If you can do it in moderation, that's fine. But what if you can't? What if right now you're stuck at home playing video games and you want to stop and don't know how? Imagine for a second how this makes you feel. Do you feel a sense of pain? What about feelings of guilt? Shame? Do you feel confident, anxious, depressed? Now, this wouldn't be a good TEDx talk unless I shared the lessons I learned and how you can use them to help yourself or someone you know overcome this addiction. It's not about the games, it's about why you play the games. If you can understand why you play games, you can move on from them. There are 4 main reasons why you play games. First, they are a temporary escape. After a tough breakup at the age of 18, playing games online gave me the perfect way of not having to deal with the situation. I could simply get absorbed in games and play for hours and hours. Second, games are social. Staying home on a Friday night doesn't seem so bad when you're at home playing games with your friends online. Not only that, but games offer a clean slate on the social ladder. Being bullied when I was younger didn't exactly leave me feeling very confident in my social standing. I felt misunderstood, unaccepted, and unsure how to fix it, even though I wanted to. Playing games online gave me this opportunity. I could be who I wanted to be. Nobody knew my history, and I was judged based on my ability to play the game and not on my current social standing. Third, games are a challenge. They give you a sense of purpose, a mission, a goal to work towards. This is an achievement paradigm. Achievements multiply the opportunities to experience success. Finally, you see constant measurable growth. This is a feedback loop. You get to see progress. When you're at school, you struggle to improve your social standing. But online, you're able to see rewards for the efforts you put in. Consider how it feels when you're finally able to see progress in something. Consider how it feels when you're able to see that the goal you've set out for is achievable. Combine these 4 areas and you have a very addicting process. So where do we go from here? How do we fix this problem? Video game addiction is a habit developed over time by becoming your go-to activity whenever you're bored. So parents, it starts with you. I'm sorry to say, but the iPad is not the new babysitter. They need interaction, not entertainment. Next, gamers play for very... Next, gamers play for very specific reasons. Identify their motivations and help them find these in other activities. Help them with their social skills. The truth is, they struggle to make friends. Lastly, don't punish them for their desire to play these games. Come from a place of compassion and encouragement, not judgment. We're so caught up in asking whether this is a real addiction or not that we've lost sight of what truly matters. How do we help these people stop playing video games? But there is another way. The truth is, this is about the idea of feeling trapped in something you want to move on from. It's about the freedom to live your life the way that you want and on your own terms. And sometimes all you need is permission. Permission to move on from something you want to move on from. Permission to stop playing video games. So if you're out there, whether you're in the audience or you're watching at home, I want you to understand one thing. You have permission. Thank you.
How did I overcome it? Well, the way that you change anything in your life is by making a decision to change, where you decide that, no more, you're gonna cut this off for good and you're gonna pursue whatever else instead. And oftentimes, in order for us to make these decisions in our life, you have to get to a certain point, a point that I often call emotional threshold. It's that point where you just get to a point where there's so much pain associated to the previous behavior, which was video games, where you associate so much pain to that you finally make a decision to change your life and get rid of it for good. You're no longer going to look back. You're only going to move forward. I looked myself dead in the mirror and I said, never again. This has to change, and it will change right now no matter what. And I looked in the mirror and I made a decision that I will no longer ever again in my life settle. I will no longer settle for less than I can be. I'm no longer going to settle for a life that I'm unhappy with. I'm no longer going to settle being alone in my life, not having friends, being insecure, not having confidence, living this life. Because I thought what really pushed me over the edge when I realized, man, what's my life going to be like in 5 years from now or 10 years from now if I continue down this path? What's it going to be like? I'm going to get even more alone, even more isolated, even more unhappy with myself. And the stacking of that pain of facing the truth, and I believe, guys, the truth will set you free. You get to the truth, man, you can change anything in your life. But most people, they don't want to face the truth because it hurts. It doesn't feel good. It feels uncomfortable because you have to admit to yourself that you're not enough. You have to admit to yourself that, you know, you're not happy. But if you can get to the truth, you can confront that pain. That pain can drive you to make that decision to change. And it did for me. And when I made that decision, I got rid of my PlayStation at the time. I got rid of it. I sold it. Got rid of all my games. I got rid of my TV. And I remember that I didn't get rid of the TV right away, but I just disconnected it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to disconnect my TV. I played online games on my computer, so I played a lot of Diablo 2. I sold my accounts. I got rid of everything. And then oftentimes, if you want to break free of an addiction, you got to replace it with an empowering alternative. It was self-development. And it was realizing that I could change. And I was very blessed because at that time in my life, I got exposed to Tony Robbins and the whole self-help industry. And I realized that I could improve myself. I can be who I want to be. I can be that popular guy in school. I could be that guy that could date that beautiful girl. I could be that person who's successful one day. And the sky's the limit. And I got obsessed with self-development. I replaced one addiction for another. My addiction to video games became my addiction to improve myself, to change my life.